let the dogs out? Who 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 let the dogs out?
Hey everyone, it's Pup Twigs here, Orlando, Florida, and joining me as my guest is Pup Oso from Dallas, Texas.
All
How are you today?
I'm good.
Awesome.
Trying not to melt in this Texas heat,
Oh, it's been miserable here too. I try to stay indoors. Podcasts are great this time of year.
right?
So I always like to start off learning about the origin of the pup's name and also the origin of your pup hood colors, even though I see a lot more those pup hoods back on the couch back there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're the ones I make.
Oh, sweet, sweet. So yeah, tell me about your how you came up with your name and also about your pup hood colors.
Sure. So, my name Oso means it's a Spanish word means bear. I kind of chose that because my family came from Mexico, so I wanted a Spanish word for a puppy name.
Oh, that's awesome.
It also I before COVID I was probably about like 80 pounds heavier, so I was kind of more bearish.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so that name just kind of stuck with me for a while. And then I also like to use it for it's a fun like play on words. A lot of my social media stuff, I like to just say like I'm also this or I'm also terrible or I'm also menacing or I'm also
I got
this. So it's just a fun wordplay word as well. So it kind of has
you.
many different uses.
All right.
Yeah.
And what about your hood?
So my hood, this is I think probably my third one. My very first puppy hood was a white one. So I wanted to incorporate some white into it. The second hood that I make like LED hoods. The first LED hood I made was a blue one. So that's kind of where the blue comes from.
Uh-huh.
And then I feel like I have a bubbly personality and pink just seems playful to me. So that's kind of why I incorporated the pink.
Uh,
Um, and so that's just kind of where all three of the colors just kind of swirl together and
Hey,
kind of how I designed
it
it.
works, correct? So there you
Yeah.
go. So how long have you been a pup in the community?
So I've been around for, I want to say probably about 3 years.
Okay.
I think I just had hit my third year. My puppy birthday is in July, so it just came, so just maybe a little over 3 years. So,
Well, thinking about those 3 years, what have you what have you experienced that's been the easiest part of our community? And then what have you found that's been a little more difficult?
as far as the easiest part, I think, uh, Dallas in general, like the pup community here has like grown really large.
Yeah.
Um, so I think the easiest thing, at least for me, is just been able to find events, right? Or find other puppies because we're like everywhere. It's ridiculous. Like I
We
mean,
are now, yes.
it's really fun. I mean, I mean that like positively, right? So I mean, you can literally go anywhere. We have a lot of different events here. So it's easy to find somewhere to go be, right? As far as the most difficult thing, I'd say, at least for me personally, whenever I first started going out to pup events, I'm an older dog. I found it difficult kind of really like integrating with a much younger community
Hmm.
in general. So that was just my kind of struggle. But I think after I got over that, I think it was just mostly like a self-imposed thing of me being like, you're older and you're like hanging out like with a younger crowd. It just like it seemed I found it hard like connecting and making connections with people, but I think after I've kind of like let that go and just, let the puppy brain take over, like that really just helped me in general get around. But I would say that was one thing that I did struggle with initially. Um,
Okay. All
but
right.
yeah, but
Well, if you had the ability to go in and change something about our community, what do you want to change?
um, that's a tough question. Um, I I feel like if we could change, I feel like a lot of times, um, the groups in general gatekeep a lot and do like a lot of that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
I wish it's not like a big problem, but I do feel like there's some niches sometimes where people like try to gatekeep things or try to tell you how to be a puppy or how to do certain things a certain way. And it's just
Yeah,
like there's really no rules. So like I don't understand why it's like, people are that way. So I mean, if I think there's one thing I could change, it would be that, but I feel like that's going to be like with any community, people always try to,
oh yeah.
tell you how you should do things and how you shouldn't do things. And really it's just like, just go have fun. Like
Yep.
be respectful and go have fun. Like
That
that's,
that's
yeah,
what I say. Just go out and have a blast with it, have fun,
yeah,
and don't worry about what other people think.
exactly. Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to somebody that's just now wanting to get into the pup community?
Honestly, I'd say what I would have done is like maybe do a little research before. There's a lot of resources online about puppy play in general. I've read a book. There's books on Amazon, right? You can buy a book called Bark. There's one called Arf. There's
Hmm.
other books in general just to kind of learn about it. That's probably one bit of advice that I'd have. And then, if you have a friend already that's a puppy, go with somebody to an event, right? I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is kind of getting out there and meeting other puppies and kind of getting involved in the community. And then really, there's a whole other, online, there's a whole community of puppies too, right? That you can, if you're like in a small town or something like that that doesn't have events, you can at least get online and Instagram or like Facebook groups or any of that kind of stuff and at least interact so that you're still kind of feeling a part of the community. So
Yeah,
that's probably some advice that I would give.
you're right. There's a lot of information online and a lot of
Yeah.
puppy groups you can join as well. So what is this? What is your favorite part of being a pup?
Um, Honestly, I think for me it's unlocked a lot of like creativity and hobbies that I didn't think I'd really want to like get into.
Hmm.
And I always enjoy seeing like what other, I made those hoods back there, right? I've gotten into like latex crafting, so I make latex clothing. And so I feel like I probably wouldn't have done that otherwise because I didn't really like, you get into puppy play and you're like, okay, well now I want to know about rope bondage and now I want to know about this. And you kind of, you get exposed to, different things.
Hmm.
And I always love hearing, other puppy stories. I love seeing like whenever puppies design their hoods or like, put pins in it or like whatever. It's just so like cool seeing like the creativity that the pup community in general has. So I think that that's probably been the biggest thing that I enjoy about it, is seeing everyone's like individual. I mean, Mr. S sells the same hood, but everybody kind of decorates it a little bit differently, right? It's kind of how do you add your own flair to it? It's
Oh
really
yeah,
cool.
yeah, and that's the good thing about our community. There's a lot of creativity
Yeah.
in this community, a lot of it. So kind of on a serious note, how has being able to get in the puppy headspace, what has it done for your mental wellness?
It's a good uh stress reliever, I would say. Um,
Yes.
it's easy, we all typically have day jobs that we've got to go work, and we have all kind of other stresses in life in general. And I always jokingly say, I just want to be a dog today. Like I just want to put on my puppy hood and like, whether I'm gonna go out or lay around the house or do whatever, like it's a good escape and it's a good like stress relief just to kind of get into headspace and just, be a dog.
I agree
So
with you on that.
yeah. So I think it's helped with that, right? So it helps me de-stress a lot, I'd say.
So I have to give you time to talk about the hoods in the background. You said
Sure.
you make them. Do you make them and sell them to other people, or you just make them for yourself? Or
I primarily just make them for myself. I actually just made one for a puppy friend. That's the gold one that's back there. Yeah, so there's like patterns on Etsy that I bought. So it's basically like a wolf pattern. Uh,
hmm.
and then I've kind of had different iterations of them. The disco one was made out of plexiglass. But that took a really long time and it's a little bit heavy. And then I experimented with making them out of just like cardboard and then putting an art resin on it to harden it.
Oh yeah.
That one's worked pretty well. And then this last one that I made for one of my puppy friends is It's made of EVA foam, so it's like the foam that like a lot of cosplayers use to build things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, so that's the last one I made. So I've been just kind of what I really want is a 3D printer, but they're expensive.
Oh yeah.
But so it's kind of but it's also for me like kind of therapeutic in a way too. Like again, it kind of going back to that whole creativity thing and like being creative. It's fun to like try different techniques and see how it kind of turns out, right? So
Yeah, no, I totally get you. I mean, I was the same way, with collars, and YouTube is a great place to learn how to do things, and I've done it, and
absolutely.
now I make collars for the community, and just I had such a good time doing it
Yeah.
and everything. Well, what kind of event? I know Dallas has a lot of events going on. What are some of the ones that you have frequented and went to?
Yeah, so I actually run two events. They're not necessarily puppy related, but I'm the founder of the DFW Rubber Club. So we are a social group of rubber wearing people.
Yeah.
So we actually had one event last night, which is Kink Karaoke. So our local bar hosts us there. So a lot of puppies always show up, and I'm always like fascinated whenever puppies go up there, and a lot of them have like really great singing voices, right? So it's really cool just to like see a puppy up there singing, doing karaoke, and that the local bar like allows us that safe space to do that. It's really awesome. And then we also have Rubber Night at Dallas Eagle. It's
Hmm.
actually going to be this Friday, so that's another big event that I help coordinate. It's a lot of fun. And then the Eagle in general has every fourth Friday they have Pup Night, which is or sorry, Pet Night, not Pup Night. But so they have that, so that's always a lot of fun. So there's at least three monthly events. I know there's another Pup Night that's like the first Friday of the month.
Hmm.
So we technically have like two a month. So again, kind of going back to like there's so many events.
Oh, yeah.
It's like hard, it's hard to yeah, at least every week there's always something going on, right?
Yeah.
And then in general, like if you just I always the Eagle is like my safe space. I'm there all the time. There's always puppies there all the time. So I just feel like it's it's there's always something to go. There's always somewhere to be. There's always a puppy to see somewhere. So
Yeah, I heard I don't know if it's true or not, but last week I heard that they're looking into possibly putting a eagle in Orlando. And I thought, oh,
oh
please
cool.
do, please do.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
need something.
I will
We
say
don't have
that's
one now.
yeah, I will say like our Eagle opened up in October, I want to say. And it's been like a game changer for me in general because I felt like I always felt safe in the other bars going out my puppyhood and stuff, but like an Eagle always just feels like home to me. I don't know, like anywhere
Yeah.
I go, I feel like I can always go into one and like be like, it's the kink community, it's the leather community, it's kind of everything, right? So but yeah, it's been awesome since it's been open.
Good, good. Well, I've always liked this question, but if you could go out and meet any kind of a public figure, past, present, and it doesn't matter what field they're in, movies, music, political, whatever it might be, who would you want to go out and sit down and talk with?
Uh This was a hard one. I was trying to think. I have like several answers, right? I have, of course, dog brain. I'm like, I have three or four answers. As far as one person I would like to meet in general, so there's I think it's the owner of Fetish Daddy Gear, which is out of London, but they do more than latex. I think they do leather and stuff too, but
Uh-huh.
I believe their name is Tish. That's what they go by. But whenever I was starting trying to learn how to make latex like clothing, again to your point earlier, Google or YouTube's an excellent resource. I stumbled upon one of their videos and kind of like walking you through how to do that. So I think from a creative perspective, I would love to like sit down and talk with Tish and just like learn, how they got into like making latex garments and all that kind of stuff. So that would probably be one. As far as like, I would love to meet Orville Peck. That would be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to his concert before whenever he was here in Dallas. That was really fun. And then, as far as like fun stuff go, I am like a Trixie and Katya like stan. So I think hanging out with them would be really fun. But yeah, so there's at least three.
And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So if pups see this and want to reach out to you, how would they be able to get in touch with you?
The easiest way is probably through Instagram. I'm pretty active on there, and it's just pup underscore oso. I'm Pup underscore Oso on Twitter as well, TikTok as well. I have if you just go to my website though, too, puposo.com, that has like all of my stuff on there.
Oh, okay. Okay,
So
awesome.
yeah, that's the easiest way to connect with me.
Awesome. Well, any last words before we sign off of here?
Um, I can't think of any. Thank you for having me. This is this is really fun. I love the pup community in general. I love the kink community. I love the rubber community. I love as a whole. So it's been a fun, wild ride, and I look forward to many more years in it.
Me too. Me too. Well, it's been a pleasure getting to talk to you, and I know it probably won't be the last time.
Awesome.
Have a
All right.